Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Neka Onene of Niger, Canada girl. How have you guys been? Today I'm going to be talking about my process to becoming a Canadian citizen. Yay! As many of you guys know, I became a Canadian citizen. I'm going to be talking about my process, my timelines, and some things you need to know if you are also going through this process. Now, if this is information you're interested in, don't go anywhere. So guys, I'm going to be diving right into the topic of today, which is my process of becoming a Canadian citizen. I'll be taking you through my journey, my timelines, the different processes I had to go through. Now, let me put this out there real quick. If you are in the process of moving to Canada and all that, this video might not be very relevant for you. This will actually be more relevant for people who are already here, who are in the process of becoming citizens as well. So that would be you if you are a PR and you're in the process of becoming a citizen, or if you've already started your citizenship application and you just want to know how the timeline goes and what happens when. This is for you. Hey, however, even if you're not a PR yet, but you just want to have a general idea or save this video for when it's time, if the process is still exactly the same, you're definitely welcome. So guys, let's take it right from the top. I moved to Canada in April 2018, and as you all know, I moved here as a permanent resident through the Express Entry program. Now, one of the things that attracted me to this program is the fact that after 3 years, if I spend approximately 3 years in Canada, in a space of 4 years, I will be eligible to apply. So what this meant was that by the time I had spent 3 years in Canada, which was by April 2021, lucky for me, throughout that period, I haven't traveled out of the country, so I was eligible to apply. So they actually count the days you've been in Canada. So if you're like me and never quite left Canada as soon as you arrived or during the period you were around, you'll be eligible to apply in exactly 3 years. So by April 5th, 2021, I was eligible to apply. There's actually something called a calculator. It's a calendar calculator to calculate how many days you've been out of Canada, how many days you've been in Canada, and that will help them determine if you're eligible to apply or not. You can check online for this. I'll also be putting a link in my description box, but not to worry if you're in the process of applying, because this is actually one of the requirements. You'll be asked to fill that calendar, okay? So guys, by April 2021, I was able to apply, and I downloaded the form online and I did apply to be a citizen. At the time I applied, I wasn't able to submit online. They hadn't started the online submission. So what it meant was I had to fill the form, print out, and send it to a mailing address they have provided through a courier service. However, right now, people are able to apply online without having to print out. So that's great news for you. Anyways, I'll be noting my timelines on the screen just so that you're able to see how my process went, the time it took, and that could give you an idea of how long yours could take. Even though I must say, this is a disclaimer, I'm not an immigration consultant, I do not work with Canada Immigration, and these timelines may vary based on different factors. This is just, however, my story. Okay, back to my process. So in April 2021, I applied for my citizenship. And I received an application, an acceptance of application or acknowledgement of application in July 2021. So yeah, I applied in April 2021. I got an email acknowledging that they had received it in July 2021. And then by March 25th, 2022, I was invited to write the citizenship test. So yes, before you become a citizen of Canada, you'll be required to write a test. Don't be scared. It's nothing too difficult. It's just a multiple choice type of test. It's 20 questions. You are required to pass at least at least 15 to be, to pass and move to the next stage. Okay, so I got my invitation to write this test on March 25th, 2022. Okay, now I'll talk a bit about the test. It's just about your knowledge of Canada. Now, there's a material that will be sent to you. It's a PDF document. You can download it online. It's called Discover Canada. It basically talks about Canada's history and journey as a country. And you'll be asked questions based on some of the information here. Some people have said they use past questions online. I also use some past questions online, as long as reading the Discover Canada manual itself. It's a PDF file, okay? This is all you need to prepare for the test. If you read everything in the Discover Canada manual, you'll be able to write the test, okay? So it's not a difficult test. It's 20 questions and you need a minimum of 15 marks to pass, okay? Yes, so let's move on. So after getting an invitation to write my citizenship test in March 2022, I was given a period of, I think it was 2 weeks to actually write the test. So I ended up writing the test on April 13th. Actually, I think you have a period of 3 weeks from when you receive the test to when you write it. I ended up writing the test because I was studying. I hadn't studied or done anything before that. So I took out this time to study, and I eventually wrote the test on April 2022. A lot of people get 20/20 in this test, but no, I didn't get 20/20. I got 18/20. I didn't care as long as I passed. That was the goal. So I wrote this test on April 13th, 2022. Okay. Now, after you write the test, the next stage is to be invited for an oath taking. So this is where you swear allegiance to the Queen, or in this case, now that the Queen is dead, maybe the King. But well, at the time I wrote mine, I had to do an oath taking to swear my allegiance to the Queen. Okay. Now, the oath taking email was sent to me on May 11th, 2022. So this is pretty much an email letting you know that now about the test, you'll be told there and there. You don't have to wait for a later time to, know whether you passed or not. It's a video test. There'll be no one monitoring you at the time, but you'll be recorded. And after the test, somebody will go and review the recording to make sure that you did not cheat, you did not make any suspicious movements, and there you're able to see your score. Okay, so at the end of the test, you see your score, but they'll tell you this is dependent, upon their revision. So if they revise the video and determine that you kind of looked sketch or looked like you were cheating, they could actually cancel your test. Or I don't know what the process is. I haven't met anyone who that happened to. Anyway, so there you're told if you pass the test or not. And of course, if you pass the test, the next is to be invited to the oath taking. And yeah, there's usually a space of time between when this happens. Like I said, I wrote my citizenship test in March 25th, 2022, and I got the email to write the test. I wrote my citizenship test in March 2022. That's when I actually got an email about, oh, hey, you can now write the test. And I eventually wrote it in April 13th, 2022. I, however, did not get called to the oath taking until May 11th, 2022. Now, once upon a time, the oath taking was done physically. I believe it's probably done physically, still done physically, but to speed up the time and clear the backlog, it's done through Zoom right now online. So I was sent an email letting me know that I had been invited to participate in an oath taking, which would be online. And the email contained the link I needed to click to sign on and be part of the oath taking. So it's just like having a typical Zoom meeting. That was the experience, okay? Now, I received this email on May 11, 2022. And lucky for me, the date for the oath taking was May 16, 2022. This is just my timeline. Some people receive this email like 2 or 3 weeks even before the oath taking, sometimes even a month. But I received mine less than a week before the oath taking. And all I had to do on the day of the oath taking, which was May 16th, 2022, was to click on the link to sign in. Now, guys, there is something heartbreaking that happens during the oath taking. You'll probably experience it. You definitely will experience it yourself as well. You'll be required to snipe your PR card into 4. Like you'd actually snip it with the scissors into 4. So as soon as you take your oath taking, you can no longer use your PR card. I mean, I felt so attached to my PR card. I'm like, are you guys sure? They're like, yeah, you're now a citizen. You don't need it anymore. And I know your question is probably like, so what next? Yes, so you'll be sent a certificate of citizenship, which you would use to apply to get your passport. But there would be a period between when you would not be without your PR card and not yet have received your passport. So it was such a thing for me having to snip my PR card. I was like, are you sure? And guys, don't even bother. You can't fake it. They would actually watch you. So first of all, you'd show them the PR card. They would confirm that it's your name, everything, and then they watch you cut it into 4 equal parts. I know. Anyways, guys, this is usually done at the oath taking. The oath taking is pretty straightforward. You're not required to do anything per se, but to participate. And then when it's time to read the oath, you have to repeat after the judge. It's very straightforward and it's joyful. You can have your friends and family in the background with you. So I mean, I was home alone that day, so I did mine alone. Okay, so this is how the oath taking works. And as soon as you're done with the oath taking ceremony, you'll be required to fill a form and send to them. As soon as they receive the form, all the process will be there. The steps you need to take will be there when you receive the email for the oath taking on the things you need to do. But anyways, as soon as the oath taking is done and you fill the form and scan back to that email, they would let you know what the next steps are, which is pretty much receiving your certificate of citizenship. Okay, now let's go back to my timelines. So I took my oath taking on May 16, 2022, and I received my citizenship certificate on June 23rd, 2022. I know, this is over 4 weeks. But guys, not to fear. Like I said, everyone's process is different. I have friends who received their certificates in like three days to a week after the oath taking ceremony. So I think it really varies. I'm not really sure what happened with mine, if it was forgotten, if it was backlogged. I have no idea, but a lot of people received theirs between 2 days and a week after the oath taking ceremony. So fear not. I don't think 5 weeks is the standard time, but hey, that's what my process was. So after I received my citizenship certificate on June 23rd, 2022, what this meant was that I was now eligible to go ahead and apply for my for my passport. Okay, I used to think it was all automatic, after applying for my citizenship and writing the test, everything else just follows. But no, these are actually processes you have to actively be involved in. Okay, so as soon as your oath taking is done, it will be mailed to your home address. You'll be mailed a certificate that certifies you are now a citizen. Like, it's a whole thing. It's actually a certificate and all that. It was really surreal for me. So as soon as you receive that certificate, you can then go ahead and apply for your passport. Now, this is where things get interesting, guys. Okay, so in the process of applying for your passport, you'd be required to fill a form online, print out the form, and now there are different types of passport application. There is the regular one where you'd receive your passport, you'd apply and you mail it to them, and then you'd receive your passport within 3 months thereabouts. However, for people who have very, very, very important trips that are in 2 days or less, there's an express process that allows you apply for your passport, and this allows you to receive your passport in 2 days. This is actually a process I'll be focusing on because that's what I did, and that's what a lot of people do, because a lot of people happen to have trips just around the time they receive their citizenship certificate. Okay, so as soon as when it's time for you, as soon as you receive your citizenship certificate, the next step, like I said, is for you to apply for your passport. All you have to do is go online. I'll be putting links in the description box. You go online, you get the form. The form is one of those online fillable forms. You fill out all the information they need, which would also include the type of passport you want. By type, I mean number of years, if it's a 5-year one you want or the 10-year one you want. I didn't want to go through that stress anytime soon, so of course I chose the 10-year passport, and there is a fee for this. I think it's about 165 Canadian dollars. Now, don't quote me. This is accurate at the time of this video. You can go back and check to see if this is accurate or what the price would be at the time you're ready to apply for yours. So you fill out the form with the necessary details they need. It's not such a long form. I mean, it is like 6 standard Canada forms, 6 pages thereabout. You'll be required to print out pages 1 to 3. Now, something else about applying for your passport is that you would need a guarantor and two references. Now, a guarantor is someone who can vouch that they know you and you've been of good character, and they pretty much can, vouch for you and your character. The guarantor has to be a Canadian citizen. So if the person is a PR or a friend with a work permit, unfortunately, the person can't be your guarantor. So you need someone who's also a Canadian citizen to agree to be your guarantor. And there's a part of the form they would need to sign. And they would also need to sign the back of one of your passport photographs, okay? So one of the requirements is that you would need two passport photographs. All you have to do is go to any Staples, Walmart, Shoppers Drug Mart, or any good passport photograph outlet, and let them know you would want to take a Canadian citizenship passport. They already know the dimensions, and they'll do you a solid and take that for you. Okay, so you fill out the form. Now, not to worry about the things, these things I'm mentioning, you might feel, how do I remember all the things I need to have? When you print out that form, or when you're filling that form, it would actually tell you all the things you need to apply for your Canadian passport. Okay, all the fields in the form you would need to fill. You would need the two passports. Something else you would need is your certificate of citizenship. They would need that as well. And any other requirement will be stated there. Okay, so as soon as you're done filling the form online, you print it out. Of course, there's a field for you to sign. There's a field for your guarantor to sign. Your guarantor's passport details would also be filled in there. So this is why you actually need someone who's a citizen, because they would require that you input the person's passport details, those details you have on the bio page, the person's address, phone number, and all that. And they would actually reach out to your guarantor. In many cases, they don't. But in my case, they reached out to my guarantor to confirm that she actually knew who I was. Okay, so just make sure the information you're putting there is accurate. They would also need you to put the names, phone numbers, and address of two references. Now, your references do not have to be Canadian citizens, which is a good thing. They could also be PRs. So all you need to do is put two people. Now, bear in mind that family cannot be used as guarantors or references, okay? So a lot of people use friends. I used my friend. It could be a neighbor, it could be a colleague, it could be a boss, but just not family, okay? Now, to the part that I think everyone has been asking me questions about, the process of actually submitting the passport application itself. Like I said earlier, there has been a backlog because a lot of people, I think COVID pretty much backlogged everything from the process, passport application, collection, and all that. So there is actually a process where you can submit your application via mail and relax, don't do anything, and you would receive it within 3 months. That's the timeline they have given. However, a lot of people have complained that it exceeds these 3 months, and that's not surprising because of the backlog. So 3 months could run into 4 months, 5 months, who knows? It could actually be 3 months, okay? And you're probably thinking, what if I have an urgent trip? What if I need to travel out of Canada urgently? This is where this other process comes in. Now, Canada has a 2-day express application service. It's not free. I can't remember how much it was, but it's between $50 to $100. I would confirm and put it in the description box. Now, this process requires you, same thing, but there's a different form. It's actually called the express form. Just Google the Canadian passport application 2-day form. You'd find it. So you fill the form. They pretty much ask for similar information, just that this time it will include information of your pending trip or your upcoming trip. You can only fill this form if you have a trip in 2 days or less, and they would need to verify. How would they verify? They will need to see proof of a flight ticket, hotel booking, something that shows them that you actually have a trip in 2 days. Now, this form would have a field where you'd have to fill the dates of your trip, where you're going, and all that. Now, the difference between this form is that you don't mail it. You don't mail it to them because it's supposed to be immediate express. So what you do is you go directly to a Service Canada passport office. There is one in Toronto, there's one in Kitchener, there's one in Hamilton. You can do your research to find what other places there are. I went to Kitchener because the queue in the Toronto one, I had heard it's epic. I had a trip in 2 days and I needed this done as fast as possible, so I opted to do the express one. I had my flight ticket to prove that I had a trip coming soon. And I also had all the other requirements, which were my certificate of insurance, certificate of citizenship. I'm sorry, my certificate of citizenship, my field form, signed by my guarantor, and my 2 passport photographs, also signed by my guarantor. They also needed another form of ID. I used my driver's license, okay? So I took all these and I went to the Kitchener passport office. In terms of how to get this done, it's pretty much a walk-in. The office is open by 8 a.m. But just to make sure that, you get a good spot on the queue, I really recommend going earlier. At the time when I filled mine and I went to submit, it was, the backlog was a lot. A lot of people were queuing at the time. So I got there by 5 a.m. and by 5 a.m. I was the 36th person on the line. But hey, it is different. I have 2 friends who went recently and they got there like 6 a.m. and they were like the 3rd or 4th on the line. So it really depends on the center you go to, and it also depends on what the condition is at the time. So all you have to do is go there, get attended to, present all the documents to them. They would give you back your certificate of citizenship. That's for you to keep. They would not be holding on to that. And then you have to also show them the proof that you have a trip coming in 2 days or less than 2 days. If it's 3 days, it would not fly. 4 days, it will not fly. The trip actually has to be in 2 days or less. Okay? They would cite your air booking or whatever proof you have and give this back to you. Okay? And they would also give you back your citizenship certificate. That's for keeps. It's for you to keep. And then in 2 days, you'll be required to go back to that center to pick up your passport. Yes. The good thing is that they'll be giving you a slip, a pickup slip, and you don't have to queue to pick up. It's just like walk in and walk out, pick up your passport. But the good thing about the slip is you can have someone pick it up for you. You just have to write the person's name and sign on the pickup slip. My friend picked mine up for me because that day I had to go to work and I was seeing her the next day. So I was able to get it from her the next time we saw. So this is another option for you. Okay, so this is the express process. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the regular process, which is like 3 months or more. I hear there's also a process that is supposed to be just a month, but I didn't do these. I opted for the 2-day express process. So in 2 days after I went there, now let's go back to my timelines. I went to the passport application office on June 30th, 2022, which was a Friday, and I received the passport on July 4th, 2022. Remember, it was a weekend, so it's usually 2 business days, so take out Saturday and Sunday. I received it on the 4th of July, which was actually in 2 business days. So guys, this has been my timeline. This has been my process. I would leave as much information as I have and links in the description box. And as usual, please ask me questions. That way, if I haven't mentioned anything, if I've missed anything, I can address it in the comment section. And also, guys, feel free, if you've had yours done more recently than I have, and there's any update to any of the information I've given, feel free to leave a comment as well. I totally appreciate it, guys. And guys, there's a little freebie, a little gift you get for becoming a Canadian citizen. I actually got something. It's an app called Canoe. Now, Canoe kind of shows you different places you can explore in Canada, especially museums, plays, or anything that improves your knowledge of Canada. And there are also discounts on things like flights, hotels, some resorts, spas. You should actually check it out. It's only free if you have become a Canadian citizen, and it is valid for 1 year after you activate it. So that's the little gift from Canada to us, new citizens of Canada, and I intend to use mine very well. So yes, you could go to the Casaloma Castle if you're in Toronto. You could go to Banff. Not to worry, the app would actually show you the different places you could go, the restrictions, and the terms and conditions. And yeah, guys, that has been my story. So yes, I am so excited. I can't wait to take this guy on a test drive. I'll be doing that soon, and I would let you know how it goes. So guys, thank you so much for watching. As usual, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's just down there. If you're here to subscribe, like, share, save, and yeah, just make sure you have this video accessible for whenever you need it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, stay safe.